Hi everyone, good evening. We'll wait for another 5 minutes for more people to join, and then maybe we can begin with the workshop. Hi Durva. Hi Kavya. Till then, would anyone like to share what are their expectations from this workshop? 2 minutes more, and then we'll start. Till then, if someone wants to grab coffee or get water or take a quick biological break, you're most welcome to it. Okay, let's begin. If someone joins in the middle, we'll have to ground them maybe again in case they feel triggered because the workshop will include a few trigger warnings, a few disclaimers as and when we proceed. We will have some activities for you to ground yourself, which will be helpful for yourself and for your practice. Yeah, and as Ira mentioned, it would be lovely to see some faces and to know if what I'm talking about is actually being transacted. Okay, so I'll just share my screen now, and in case there are bandwidth issues, I may have to turn off my camera. Just 1 second. Let me know if my screen is visible. Okay, I may have to log in again. Sorry for this delay. Just 1 second.
Um, till then, does anyone still want to share their expectations or what? Um, is there something that you want to know or tell to the group? I would also like to iterate that this is a safe space and it won't just be created by me and Bhavya. Everybody needs to create a safe space for everybody, and we will do that together. So we would be glad if you guys, would create that space, that safe space for each other, and then we can start the workshop. Okay, Bhavya's here. Bhavya, you're muted.
Okay, sorry for that. Is my screen visible?
Yes, that's visible.
Great. Okay, so I will not be able to see you guys, and if there is a question, Ira, please feel free to unmute yourself and just let me know.
Sure.
So, before we begin, would anyone like to, does anyone have any insight about why are we doing this? Why do we need to be trauma informed? Okay. Can you guys just tell me one thing? Are you able to see it as a slideshow or on, like, just like with the left panel as well?
No, it's not. We can't see it in the slideshow.
Okay, okay. How
And
about now?
still not visible.
No. Okay, I'm sorry for these glitches that are happening. Is it okay if we do it in this way?
I think yeah, I feel it's okay. Is everybody else okay with it?
It's
Can you
fine
write
now?
it? Yeah.
Great. Okay, yeah. So there is an answer, right?
Yeah.
I
So
look,
Kavya is.
yeah,
Can you read? Can you read the chat?
yeah, I'm
No.
able to right now.
Okay.
So I look forward how I can help the LGBTQIA plus community and using art interventions would be okay. Okay, thank you, Durga, by the way. Right, Kavya, very right. And so today we'll be focusing on the trauma informed care aspect of things for the next 2 days. And after that, Ira will be taking you through the art interventions. So, before we begin, I would like to give you some trigger warnings and some disclaimers. One is that the material we'll be discussing today, it can be a little overwhelming. So, for your own safety and for your own grounding, I would request you all to have some object, or if you already have some grounding exercises at your disposal, please feel free to use them. And if at any point something gets very overwhelming, please let us know in chat. And also, if you feel like you need to get out of the meeting right now and it's too much for you, please feel free to do so. Some things that have often helped people are like having something cold. So if there's like a metal water bottle with you which is cold, just putting it across on your cheek like this, it can help you ground a little. Sometimes just having a pen can also do that for you, just doing it up and down. So whatever suits you, you can go for that. Another disclaimer is that both Ira and I are recent graduates, and although we are queer friendly therapists, we are not yet queer affirmative. We need to go through that training. These are I am trauma informed, um, and in lieu of that, I will be taking you guys through some activities that are for stabilization. That means you can use it across different settings, but that does not mean that you can actually help a person Uh, working through their trauma, right? So now, just an energy check-in. This is a fun thing to do. On a scale of 0 to 10, I would like you all to write down a number where you are right now, with 0 being the least energetic, like no energy at all. Oh, I had signed up, so I have to be here. And then 10 being, oh, yes, we're going to do amazing stuff. We're going to learn. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Grishma. That's nice. I hope I maintain the 10.
Yes. The topic is really interesting. So yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely, thank you. Okay, Kruti and Priyanka are on a 8, 7, 8. Great. Thank you. Thank you all for being so responsive as well. Okay, so now I'd like to get your understanding about what trauma is. Feel free to unmute yourselves. We are a small group. There's no wrong or right answer here. We are not approaching this from a very clinical lens. So you can answer as much as you understand about trauma. You can even type it in the chat.
A disturbing experience, maybe from
Okay.
past or current, like in any situation.
Okay. Yeah. What else?
Am I audible? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah. Yes, Durga.
Is there
Am
a
I
lot of
pronouncing it
background
right?
noise? Yeah,
Yeah.
you are. You're the first person to pronounce my name right. All right. So as you mentioned, like there's no right or wrong answer for trauma, right? I think there's no right or wrong definition here. It basically is very personalized. It depends on individual to individual. So whatever has impacted them a lot or disturbed them, I think that would be trauma, and it has long-lasting effects to their present abilities as well.
Definitely. Yeah. Great. I think Durva did sum it up for us, because so there's a person, a psychotherapist, Gabor Mate, who talks about trauma, and he talks about how trauma is not what happens to you, it's also what happens inside of you as a result of what has happened to you. So, like, I think it's an amalgamation of the answer that you two gave. You know that it. So a lot of people go through similar life events. You know, siblings may go through similar life events. People go through traumatic natural disasters, but still there can be differences in the way they respond to the trauma, right? So that is exactly what we need to understand, that when we talk about trauma, when we talk about symptoms, it's not a one size fit all. And this makes us come to the big T's versus little T's of trauma. So when we do talk about trauma, like you said, right, there are very, like, now that we are accepting things like war is traumatic, we are accepting that domestic violence, child abuse, all of these are very overtly available, right? We can see the signs of these traumas. We know, we can see bruises, we can see something happening, and we know this is going to be traumatic for this person. But then also there are these things for little t, the trauma, which what happens is that although it may not be exactly similar to what we define PTSD in DSM-5, but there are symptoms that are overlapping, and that does not mean that there is no trauma. So it could be interpersonal conflict, it could be emotional abuse, it could be legal trouble, could be financial insecurity. So all of these things can be traumatic for a person, right? So, apart from that, trauma is often classified as acute, chronic, and complex. So, acute is often a single incident trauma. So, for example, an earthquake. Chronic trauma is repeated and prolonged exposure, like domestic abuse and violence. And complex trauma, like the word suggests, is a little complicated to understand. But what happens in complex trauma is that because there are various exposures to different events, the most important element that is there in complex trauma, that the nature of the trauma is interpersonal. So we all may be aware of the term gaslighting. We all may be aware of these new words that we're hearing nowadays in the relationships of today, like gaslighting, love bombing, and things like that. So all of this, when it comes to emotional abuse, they can come into the purview of complex trauma. So I would like to ask you now that, in your opinion, in like, what do you think? How does trauma manifest itself? Is there a way the trauma manifests itself? Is it totally internal? What do you guys think? Have I lost you guys already? 7, 8 has gone to 4, 5. Okay. Yes, Kavya, thank you.
Yeah, I also feel that it's more of an interaction between the internal and external, like Kavya also says.
I feel
Um,
it depends on how resilient the person is. Mm, in a way, yes, we can come back to that again. Any other thoughts? Okay. So, trauma usually is can lead to neurological issues, but also behaviors like anxiety. Definitely, of course. So, what I'll be talking about today will be from a neurobiological perspective, but more importantly, a perspective which has no right or wrong way to actually manifest trauma, right? So, when you think about trauma, isn't it true that when we think about something as scary or traumatic, sometimes it can be like, something is happening automatically for us, right? So what I want to do is that I have done like a little exercise in the next 2 slides, where I am giving you an example, which would be that you are sorry, yeah. So the body so I'll just come back to the activity first. Let's understand this, that the body's natural physiological reaction to stressful, frightening situations is the response to trauma, right? If you see your dog coming to you, if you're a dog lover, you're just gonna go to that dog, right? But if you're scared of dogs, you might run away, you might flee, you might even be like, oh, I'm so sorry, just stay away, right? Something like that. So it is based in survival for the organisms. And with keeping that in mind, there are different trauma reactions, right? So suppose, say you have an assignment due in 20 hours. I would like you all to tell me what would your responses be. Now keep in mind, this assignment is due as 20 hours. You have not even started it, right? And there are different ways of approaching this situation, but I'd like to hear from you all what you would all do. Yeah, sure, I'll repeat that. So suppose you have an assignment due in 20 hours, right? And you've not even started the assignment, and you had just forgotten about the assignment, and now it's due in 20 hours. So it's giving you a lot of fear, anxiety, and things like that. So my question to all of you is, what would your response be? Like, what would you do? There are different ways to approach this, right? What would you all do? Panic, yeah, yeah. Fear would, yeah, definitely. Stressed, yes, of course. As you feel all these feelings, Kiran, Could you tell me what would your plan of action be? And it could be you don't have any plan of action also. Okay, anger outburst, right? Okay, 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 fine. Two things in a hurry. Okay, yes. I would like more responses to this. Interesting, no? Okay, lack of focus, definitely. React instead of respond. Okay. What and Kiran, what would that reaction look like? Okay, yeah, makes sense. Fine. So, there are four responses usually there in drama, right? First is the fight, right? So someone said, "Oh, I'm going to break it down, plan for the remaining time. I'm going to start looking for online resources." Someone also said that, anger outburst. I'm going to be so angry about it, right? So, fight response is an aggressive stance to the stressor, that you're ready to fight that stressor, right? So, like a lot of you said, you sit down to study because your body feels it has enough resources to deal with the material. Now, flight would be running away from the stressor, that you don't feel you can finish the assignment in time anyway, so we will submit it late. Like someone said, okay, I'll submit it, but let's see how I do things, right? And then is the freeze and fawn response. So freeze is like Ira also shared procrastination, that oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. That I don't know all of feeling, right? So I'd also like to connect these simpler responses to what also happens with survivors of trauma. So just like so Fawn is trying to please to diffuse conflict with others. So in this scenario, we're thinking about a professor. Oh, I'll ask for an extension, or oh, mom, dad, I totally forgot about this assignment. So be prepared for like a C or a D, something like that. But in all of this, what is happening for us is that we are finding ways to deal with the stressor. And more often than not, all this happens if the threat is too big. Like if the threat is so big that so your lower brain takes the dip. So it happens unconsciously, right? So we talk about how a perfect victim should look like, or what the perfect response should be. Like we hear people say things, Arey, why didn't she get out of the relationship quicker? Or, why did they stay for so long if they were getting beaten? She must be lying. Or, oh, really? If she has all these problems, then why did she freeze? Why did she not shout for help if she was so helpless in that time? So, trying to explain to you all that all of these responses happen at an unconscious level, and if someone freezes while something bad is happening to them, it is not their fault, right? Okay. And if this is at all triggering for anyone, please let me know. You can also email us separately if that is something you would prefer doing, right? Ira, if you could just put our emails down on the chat box. So, in understanding what the responses are, what we're also understanding is that people don't come into therapy to fix themselves, right? And it's not to change their past, it's not to fix their past, it's not to forget their past. It's also about, there were brain associations created when there was trauma, but there can be new associations created for healing as well. So, what can we do? What do you guys think we can do in terms of all of this? Seems a little hopeless, doesn't it? Like, oh my god, what are we going to do in all of this? What's our role? Any answers? It's okay if you don't know. The first time I heard about all of this, I was overwhelmed as well. And nobody responded to my teacher as well. So I'll just continue. So, since trauma is about a feeling of unsafety, a feeling of, fear. So, what is we are supposed to do with our clients or with the person experiencing any, triggers or any effects of the trauma? We have to create what looks like safety for us and for them, right? And we also need to understand how to feel safe for ourselves. And the reason we talk about how to feel safe is because, so are you guys aware of the three brain structures we have? Please just type in yes or no, and I can briefly explain if the answer is no. No? Okay. Any more responses? Okay, Dhruva. Great. Okay, so just for the sake of it, I'll repeat it very briefly. So suppose this, I'm going to use my hand to explain to you the brain structure a little bit, right? So this is usually the forebrain, which is here, right? This is where all of our thinking, creativity, and all of the higher order thinking happens. And this takes a lot of energy. And this right here, the brainstem here, the hindbrain and the brainstem, is where the primal brain lives, right? The reptilian brain that we hear about. So it's very quick in its action. It doesn't require a lot of energy. So if we see a rope over here and I look it from my side eye, I'll be like, oh no, a snake, and I'll jump. That is because when something traumatic or fear-inducing thing happens, it's our uh, hindbrain that takes over and makes the responses. So sometimes it could be possible that we feel unsafe in places which could be relatively safe. So in that case, we need to understand how we can stabilize ourselves and how that stabilization and safety may look for another person, right? So we are going to do another activity. Grab a pen and paper and just make this ladder on the left. It might be right for you guys, I'm not sure. Just let me know once you've made the ladder. You can just type in like Y or just give me a thumbs up. Anything works once you've done this. Okay. You don't have to write anything down right now. Just make the ladder and let me know. Okay. Done. Great. Done. Okay. 3, 4. There's 18 of you. More yeses. Okay. Thanks, Kainar. Thank you, Shweta. Okay. Let's begin. So, just on the ladder, on the bottom, write about a time, or if you don't feel comfortable writing about a time, just about the feeling that you can remind yourself of when you, of a time that was very stressful for you, and you felt like you were immobilized, and you did not feel like, oh, this particular problem, I just cannot deal with it. I don't know that feeling, that, oh, I don't know that constant feeling that comes about. Just write that down in the bottom of the ladder. Let me know once you're done with that. And I would like some of you to just share a few reflections about what you've written down. Let me know when you guys are done. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Great. So similarly, in the middle, you can write about a time when you felt, oh my God, this is too much, but okay, I'll do it somehow. I'll be able to do it, and fine. इतना भी बुरा नहीं है कुछ, हो जाएगा. Those that feeling of things are manageable. Let me know once you're done. Also, I would like you all to notice what's happening for you as you're doing this activity. Right now we're in the middle, and I'm hoping till the time you come to the top of the staircase, there might be some reflections coming in from you all. Right. And on the top, like it's mentioned here, a time when you felt so safe, so happy, you felt, अरे यार ये तो हाँ ये तो ऐसे ही हो जाएगा, I can do this, yeah, there's no trouble, I'll finish this like that. We can wait for 1 more minute. Okay, okay, done. Great. Right. So as you were doing this activity, were you able to notice any shifts in how you were feeling as you were writing down something? And what happened when you started from writing about, oh, when you felt in the bottom, and then slowly as you went up? I would like you all to unmute yourselves and just share about the experience of this activity. Ira, you can also start.
Okay, I'll start. So the feelings were gradually, I was feeling better, but then the bottom trigger remained sort of because I was reminiscing it more. I realized that, and it was much easier for me to write the hard thing because I like suddenly remembered it. But when I came to the top, it was hard for me to remember one incident which was, you know, oh wow, I was so relaxed at that time, which made me reflect on myself only that, oh no, I get. So yeah, in the middle one was okay.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Ira. I think that's a very accurate way of describing it. And Shweta, yes, it's your activity. You can describe it however you want to. And if anyone else is comfortable, please do share your reflection. Even if even if it's similar to Ira's, that's sort of the point of the activity. So you can just share it.
Yeah, and I'm also doing it for the first time. So
Yeah.
it was very reflective for me.
May I?
Yes, Kavya, please.
Yes, so I could not point out a particular incident, but I could find a time frame where like everything went out of my control, and again, once I was able to take a hold of what's going on around me and what's going on with my life. So at the bottom, I have this timeline like 2019, 2018 to 2019, which was not the best for me, and how I progressed to the middle, as Eva said, you feel kind of safe. You know that it's not okay. At the same time, you feel safe. There's a secure kind of feeling. And that was me during 2020. And then 2021, I was able to go out of my house. I was able to meet friends. I was able to go out on trips. It just made me realize that whatever is happening, I know that I can control whatever I can control, and I'm not gonna worry about whatever I cannot focus on or what I cannot control. So that was 2021. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your reflection in this, Kavya, and thank you so much for giving us that in-depth view of how it went like for you. And if at any point you feel like you want to discuss something more, please feel free to reach out to us, right? So, like you just mentioned, right, that when you came to the middle, you felt a little safer, and similarly to like that. So, this is called the autonomic nervous system as a ladder, right? The idea is that, so just like I was explaining to you, the brains right now, right? So there are different activations that happen inside of us. When there is a threat or when we feel like we don't have enough resources, we go into this dorsal vagal activation, right? And this dorsal vagal activation is also almost where therapists find themselves when they are burnt out, right? So it's, and then the second one where you said, okay, I felt a little safer. That was the sympathetic activation. That I'm getting overwhelmed. I'm having a hard time keeping up, but okay, this is dangerous. But you still feel okay, you can fight this. And then there's the ventral vagal activation where everything seems manageable and it's okay. So why am I telling you guys all about this, right? Like, क्या करें इस न्यूरोबायो का, है ना? So the thing is, that's all right, Trishita. No worries. Okay. So I was saying, so the idea of understanding our different zones is so that we can also transition from one zone to the other as we require it. So sometimes, how we say when we are in a very, when we feel very anxious or panicked, we say, I don't want to feel this way, right? But instead of not wanting to feel this way, it's also about building our tolerance to feel a certain way instead of just fearing the how sometimes we also fear that, oh no, I'll get an anxiety attack, that fear of fear itself, right? So uh so uh with that, we also have the window of tolerance and the zones of arousal, like we shared. So when you feel unsafe, you can either go into a state of hyper arousal, कि यार मैं कर लूंगा, मैं कर लूंगी, या it's okay, everything's gonna be okay, or oh no, I have to run away from here, no no no, can't do it, run run run. So fight and flight goes in hyper arousal. And sometimes we are just like, uh can't do it, body shuts down, we say we are feeling numb, I can't feel my emotions, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. All of that comes under the hypoarousal uh, zone. And then there is a zone which usually for a lot of people who've experienced trauma may be like this. And that's called the window of tolerance, right? That how tolerable are the things that are coming for us. Because for a lot of people, what happens is that when they experience trauma, you might all be aware that there's re-experiencing happening, there's flashbacks, even sometimes after a breakup, and a lot of trauma literature talks about how breakups are very much related to PTSD symptoms. We're thinking about, oh, what could I have done right? Yeah, what could I have done more? And things like that. So that is a brain trying to correct the situation because it doesn't know that's not how it's gonna help out, right? So what is happening is that our brain does not have the tolerance to, or the present moment is so intolerable that they'll rather fight or flight or freeze or even fawn. So, a lot of trauma literature and stabilization techniques talk about how to ground a person so that they are not caught in that re experiencing loop, right? Why would you want to re experience something that put so much tragedy for you again and again? So, that is where trauma therapists also come into the picture. So, now there's another activity very much related to your first one. I want to know before we start this activity, where are your energy levels at? 8-7 से कम भी हो गया तो it's all right because this activity is going to help you, change levels just like that. So we understand how we can go from one zone to the other. Energy check-in, quick. On a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the least amount of energy. Oh God, why am I here still? Only 20 minutes to go, right? And 10 being, yeah, okay, this is fine. Oh wow, Grishma is still at 10. Nice. 7, 8, okay. Okay, everyone's maintaining their energy then. Oh, 5. Oh, that's okay, Kavya. So understandable. And third meeting of the day, and then it's about trauma. Right? Okay. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to play you 3 songs, right? And those songs are gonna, like, I would prefer if some of you could put your videos on, or you could just see me looking like it's me and Ira looking like the dogs just dancing to ourselves, but we love it. So I'll be playing a few songs, and I would like you to write down as I play song number 1, song number 2, song number 3, what is the energy level for you. It will fluctuate, so don't feel like weird about it going to 10, then suddenly 5 or 4, something like that, right? Okay, so if we are all ready with our pens and papers and if we are in a comfortable position, just write down okay and I'll begin the activity. Okay, thank you. Okay. All right. Let me know if you can hear that. Just wait, whatever feel like, and if your cameras are off, can't hold it. Sorry, just give me a second. I'll just turn on my speakers, right? Just give me 1 second. Audible?
It is, but it's breaking a little.
It's breaking. So I'll just
Yeah.
turn off your camera then, right? Because I think it might be the internet. So thank you, Kavya, for your faith. All better? Okay, let me just present on the screen. Is that fine?
Can you send the link to the song and maybe everyone can hear it on by themselves?
Yeah, just give me a second. Uh, I have it on Spotify. Just give me 1 second. All right?
Okay, I'll share it.
Okay.
You send it to me and I'll just share it in the chat. Okay, because WhatsApp is already open.
Take care.
Okay. So everybody can take 2 minutes, listen to the song, and then come back and write when they're done.
Okay. Energy check-in. So since there is not enough time, we'll be going through the songs quickly instead of like the whole song, alright? So, could you guys write down in the chat, or if you'd like to unmute yourselves, what's your energy level like right now? It was like a solid 7 or 8 for most people. Nice. You can write it in, okay, 9, 8, okay, same. Yeah, perfect. A 6, I feel very relaxed. Yeah, it can have different, implications for different 5, 6 feeling at least. Definitely, yeah. Okay, great. Now I'm gonna play another song for you. The next song, Happy 9, 5, feeling nice. I'm really glad. The next song, Ira, if you could put the link on the chat, I just sent it to you. I would request you guys to start it from the particular minute I'll let you know, right? Because it's a very, very long one. And one more thing, it's quite probable you guys might want to get up and dance and just go around, and so that's all right, right? You feel free what your body needs to do. Let yourself be loose. Listen to your body and just do what it wants to. I'll just write down the number on the chat. Okay. Yes, Shweta, that was kind of the point. Yes, moving from 9 to 10, 10, 10, yes. 12, wow, broke the scale. Any more numbers coming in, or should we go to the last song? The 10 for sure. 8. Aditi is still on 8? No, she was on 5 and she went to 8. Nice. I hope I'm addressing your pronouns right. Just correct me, anyone, if I'm doing it wrong at any point. The body is definitely reacting differently to the beats. Definitely, yes. Very right observation. All right. So now the last song. Hoping you guys to come back to like, in an environment where you're still receptive of what I'm saying instead of full on party mode. So, right. So it'll be like I think you should come back to a number that will be very soothing, it will be alert. So let's see how this happens for you. Okay, so where are you guys now? Meditative six. Nine, seven. Okay. Yeah. Did you feel it in your body as your 10 was going to a 7 or a 6? 3 and ready to sleep. Oh, wow. That's fluctuating a lot for you, isn't it? 6, 8, 6 to 3 songs. Nice. Not bad.
I feel like, can I say?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I feel like the energy is high, but it's like the calmer energy is high, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So, like, it's not really that, oh, I don't have, my body's not equipped to participate in things now, that kind of low energy, but like a calmer energy, and I'm more open to experiencing things. That
yeah,
energy has increased.
definitely. Yeah. So there's not a lot more that I have to explain. I just like all of you to I like to invite your experiences and your reflection, and I'd like to discuss with you about all of it like in 2-3 minutes, and then if you have any questions as well, right? This is my live slide about any questions. I can stop presenting, and we can also have a discussion for the next 5 minutes about how this all went for you guys. So, what do you guys think? And feel free to unmute yourselves. Like, yeah, we can just like talk and just if you have any more questions, I'd just like to sum up this exercise by saying one thing that the idea was uh, like if when we understand what our zones of safety look like, what our zones of threat look like, and how is it that we can regulate ourselves when perceived threat is there, maybe real or perceived. I'm talking about, right? How do we build our own capacities, our own tolerances to actually be able to fight off the threat, or even in some cases, um, go ahead with asking for help or building resources for ourselves? And that can happen when we are in the zone which we were talking about here, right? When we are in the ventral vagal activation, which often happens when we feel safe and secure. And you may have noticed yourself going from this numb, collapse, shutdown feeling in the initial song that, oh, I'm just so tired, I'm gonna sleep. And then, okay, ready to, bhangra, yeah. And then that safety, like Ira is talking about, right? So I'll just stop presenting and we can have, oh, so Kavya, so Durva says definitely I resonate with what Ira said. My senses feel soothed. Okay, nice. Kavya, no questions. This session was curated, ensuring not to trigger anyone, so appreciate that. Thank you. The content shared was easy to comprehend at the same time. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. Any other reflections? Any questions you'd like to have? We will be covering trauma informed care in the context of the community, LGBTQI community, tomorrow. It's going to be a little more theory based. Today was a lot of applications, so that these application based training can actually be applied to when we do the work on the ground. Oh, sure, Kainat. So we both are master's graduate from TIS, and I had taken the elective of trauma therapy in my last semester, and that is how I have come to the understanding of this. One more thing that I'd like to just elaborate upon is that there are a few sessions, like if you are a practicing therapist, you can do a diploma course in trauma therapy or even trauma informed care from TIS itself. It's a distance learning course, so you don't have to go to the campus. Sure, the emails, where are they? And I can't find the email. Okay, found it. Okay, yeah, here you go. Where we do this diploma in trauma. So there are a few, the course name is, you can either go for trauma informed care if you're a graduate. There are a few courses in trauma informed care, and you can also, if you're a practicing therapist, you can. I think it's like you have to be eligible after 3 to 4 years to go into trauma focused therapy. And trauma informed care, more courses you can also look into abroad, or you can go for courses like EMDR, which are focused in trauma. They are trauma focused, not just trauma informed. And there are, of course, other certification courses in different types of trauma informed care. This 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 activity and this session was designed keeping in mind the, the most easily and readily available resources for both budding therapists and therapists who have been practicing for a long time. One
Uh,
Yeah, thank you. Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Shweta. Websites you can look out for our next. I'll just put them down here, right? And you can also look out for the work of Gabor Mate if you're into understanding trauma and addiction as well. Okay. Yeah, Coursera might have a few courses on. Sure, no worries. Any other questions? Any other feedback, reflections? How are you all feeling right now in your bodies? Do you feel grounded enough, or would you like to do like one small, exercise before we leave? It's not really an exercise. I'm just going to ask you all to stand up on the ground, look away from your computer, a PC, and just, tap yourself a little. You feel calmer. That's a relief to know. You have been in and out of meetings, so it's good that you will feel calm and just sleep relaxed today, maybe. Excited for tomorrow. Thank you. Tomorrow, I'm giving you guys a disclaimer. Tomorrow is not going to be a lot of activities.
I have one more thing to add. It's a part of reflection and same thing. Just that the music activity that Bhavya facilitated. So music can be really powerful in order to ground and regulate your emotions. So you guys can choose your own songs that you want at a moment and then associate it with the feeling also. Like these 3 songs that Bhavya said, you can make your own playlist for each emotion as well, and then regulate it at that time as well. Like for me, the 3 ventral dorsal things were like helplessness, hopefulness, resilient, and then safety. So I can curate my own songs for that in order to ground myself. So you can do that when you're feeling triggered or if any emotion is too overwhelming. These 3 songs helped me today as well from that progression.
So, if there are any, okay, I have no questions, and I definitely will. I see how much care. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. I hope you all do join in tomorrow. Um, any last comments? We can take 2 more minutes and then we can close at 7:05. Okay, then you have been a lovely audience to this facilitator, and I hope this continues tomorrow. And I love that you guys were so interactive today as well. So we will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Thank you.
Bhavya, Ira, could you stay back for a minute, please?
Sure, sure, sure.